Hi guys, it's Mo from Mo Reads It, and today we're doing a fall haul. Okay, it's falling in fall. So this haul is an accumulation of book boxes, books, continuations in series, and the Barnes & Noble next to my house was moving locations. So literally everything was 50 to like 60 or 70% off, and it was just crazy. The day I was going to look for Babel, the second edition, so that I could annotate it and everything, is the day I saw that they were going to move locations. My heart sang. I was able to get a few books. Note this, it was already pretty cleaned out, but I still was able to get a bunch of books. I'm so happy. I am lucky I found it when it was closer to the cleaned out point than when it was more full point, because I literally would have like just given them my wallet. It would have been bad for me, it would have been good for them, it would have been nice for my bookish needs. Oh, the tingle. But luckily we did not do that, so we were able to get a few books from that as well. I was so happy because having to like drive to the library for me is very difficult. I don't have my own car, I share a car with my husband, and some days I just don't feel well enough to drive. So yeah, having books in my own home library to read at leisure is such a privilege and a gift. I love it. So note, a lot of these books aren't necessarily fall themed, but a lot of them actually are very fall themed because we are in the Washington fall situation right now. We left Florida, we're now in Washington, we're going back to Florida in a couple weeks, but wow. The leaves are falling, the rooftops are frosting, and the crisp, cold air is biting. So, let's begin this haul. Overall, I got about 14 books. These first few were the ones I was able to get at my Barnes & Noble that was moving locations. So, the first book I got was Shadow of Night. This is book 2 in the Discovery of Witches series, which is completely fall. It's literally the Discovery of Witches, which I also ended up hauling as well from a different Barnes & Noble, but pretty much a Discovery of Witches is dark academia. It's supposed to be a fantasy romance. It's supposed to be like really good from what I've been told through the grapevine, and I've heard either you love it or you hate it, but I've heard more loves than hates as well. Blind, I've only read like first 30 pages of Discovery of Witches. I have been trying to do a fall vlog for you guys and read it for a while now. It's not working out. I'm in a reading slump. It's not good. I'm in such a reading slump dump that I don't even want to read at all, which I think is one of the worst reading slumps you can be in. Like, some of them, like, oh, I feel like reading manga, or like a light novel, or a novella, or a funny romance, or an easy fun fantasy, or something else, but I literally feel like reading nothing. I don't feel like reading at all, period, zip. So awkward. Those are the first 2 books in my haul. Hopefully I eventually will get to read Discovery of Witches during fall, because I do not want to carry it over to a 3rd year of being on my fall TBR. It needs to be read this year. Plus I really just want to know what the story is about. I want to enjoy it. I want to be part of the hype. Next we got Amari and the Great Game by B.B. Alston. So Amari, book 1, is supposed to be epic, it's supposed to be amazing, it's supposed to be everything I ever dreamed of and more. So I've been told by everybody. So I had to get book 2. It's the hardback edition. I knew I was eventually going to read the first book when I had time. I'm thinking I'm going to read it in spring though, because I'm feeling, I don't know, I'm not feeling it right now. I'm a mood reader. I really just go where the wind carries me at this point, because I make TBRs for, I don't know, a documentation of what I want to read, but half the time I don't even finish them, or I'm a mood reader. Let's just say that. So I ended up getting the hardback version of the second book of Amari. Book 1 I don't have yet. I will be getting the first book of that. I did know I wanted to annotate and read these in physical copy. I already knew that from the get-go, so I had to get the hardback version. Do I know what it's about? No, but I did that on purpose. I'm going into it blind. I've heard that Amari will change your life, and I'm ready for some life-changing Amari stuff. I have yet to hear one bad thing about it. One. And now that book 2 has come out, the hype is going to be like dripply drubbly. I will probably, let me not even say that, because I've been saying I'm gonna read and vlog all these books, and I don't even feel like reading, so I can't make these promises. The next book I got is actually Queen of Air and Darkness by Cassandra Clare. This is the third book in the Dark Artifices, and this is the one that has the really cool spine. So I've been collecting the ones with the really cool spine to be my physical annotation books for the Cassandra Clare series, because all of her series, for those who don't know, it started off with the Mortal Instruments, and then it moved on to, I think, the Infernal Devices, and then the Dark Artifices, and now we're in the Last Hours trilogy, which I have pre-ordered, I think, 2 copies of it. But anyway, I like these because it has a nice spine, and I can physically annotate them, I can throw them in my luggage, I can do whatever I want with them, and I don't have to worry about messing up my hardbacks or my special editions or any of my cooler editions of these books. So I've been collecting these slowly but surely. This is my first one that I have of the Dark Artifices trilogy, so I have to get the first 2 books, but I have the entire Mortal Instrument version of these. I have the Chain of Iron version of this, and I think that's it. I still need to get Chain of Gold. I need to get that probably actually this month because I'm doing a whole reread for the last book of the Last Hours series. Book 3, Chain of Thorns, my heart. And I have to pre-order it to go to Florida because if it comes here, I'm not gonna be able to read it in time. And I ordered the Waterstone edition. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I got the beautiful edition paperback of The Queen of Air and Darkness. I'm not gonna lie, I don't like the Dark Artifices trilogy. Out of all the trilogies and books Cassandra Clare has written, I find Emma's books to be the most annoying because I just don't like her as a main character. She just never clicked in me. Spending all that time in her head was really boring and annoying. I think Clary's better in terms of having to read continuously in her mind. I know it's usually the other way around, but I don't know. Emma and I just don't click like that. I actually end up DNFing the first book of this series, Lady Midnight, twice before I got through it because I could not stand Emma, and then I DNF'd Lord of Shadows I think once before I couldn't get through it because of Emma. I'm just not the biggest Emma fan. I don't know why. I love everyone else. I love Ty and Julian and the whole gang, but Emma and I don't know. I just find her mind boring. Next book I also got was the paper version of The Lost Book of White by Cassandra Clare. I also have this book on ebook. I still have yet to read it. I love Mangus Bane. He's actually one of my favorite characters in the Mortal Instruments world, but I cannot bring myself to read these just yet. I don't know why. Part of it is because I just don't want the world to end, and I don't want new content to ever stop entering my life. So I feel like I'm putting it off, and I'm putting it off for like that one moment where I'm like, I need you, and I like pull it off the shelves and like I devour it. But yeah, I still haven't read book 1 or 2. This is book 2. I own both of them on ebooks, and I believe I need this one in the physical copy. So yeah, I do plan on annotating these because I always annotate my paperback Cassandra Clare books. Unless it's my original copies from high school, I don't annotate those. And last but not least, from Barnes & Noble, I got Beasts of Prey, The Hunt Begins by Ayana Gray. So I've been hearing a lot about Beasts of Prey. I've been hearing that it's great, it's luscious, it's amazing. Going into it blind, I want to read it. Book 1 and 2 are already out, and I don't think book 3 is out yet. So I did want to get it in paperback so I can annotate it. I've heard great things, I haven't heard bad things. I want to read it. I'm gonna get read soon. It looks epic. I'm kind of holding off on it because it looks so epic that when I do read it, I want to sit down and kind of fully devour it. I'm the type of person where I'll just pick up a book and I'll just start reading it because of my mood reader ways, but I won't always have the time to finish it in that one sitting because I'm like just having like a momentary break in my day and not like a, oh, I can read for a while type break. So I want this as a I can read for a while type break. Okay, so for these next 3 books, I already actually read them. I got the entire Kingdom of the Cursed trilogy. So the last book was coming out, Kingdom of the Feared, and I was like, I gotta be part of the hype. Everyone's been telling me these books are amazing. I love fantasy romance. I need to read them. It has a whole spooky dooky cast. Vampires, witches, demons, going to hell, and I was just like, I gotta read it. It's October, I have to read it. I read book 1 and 2. I found them, I think they're by far the most predictable books I have ever read in my entire existence. I predicted every single plot hole from book 1 to book 3 pretty much, and I think because of the predictability of it, I did not like it. I think typical people will probably give this 4 or 5. Probably more people will probably give it 5 because of it does become more new adult in this version, and it starts as YA, but like YA teeter-tottering on new adult. It is fantasy romance. It does get explicit, just to let you guys know. I don't care for spice, so I didn't really care about it, but I just didn't feel like the plots were holding up, and the main character is just, it's not that I don't like being in her head for a long time, it's just that I can predict everything she's going to think and say, so it becomes not special. There's nothing to look forward to. And yes, I hauled all 3 books thinking I was going to love all 3 books. I actually got book 1 and 2 from Target on sale. Book 2 and 3 from Target on sale. It was buy one get one half off, and I got these 2. And then this one I got from Barnes & Noble when I was in Tampa. I'm still reading the last book, Kingdom of the Feared. I give the first 2 books 4 stars. The hype was lost on me. I did not care. I even attempted vlogging this, but like, it just wasn't doing it for me. I don't care about these books. I like Carrie Malascalco's writing overall. I liked Stalking Jack the Ripper series. I like her writing style, but the predictability killed it for me. It just did. Like, I predicted every single thing that was gonna happen. There was no plot twist for me because I could, I really wish I liked it more. I think this actually is what put me into my burnout a bit, because YA, I feel like, is failing me. I'm still like 30 pages or 60 pages into the last book, but honestly I don't think I care to even finish it, so I'm considering DNFing it. Or should I just finish it to just like be like, oh, it's not worth it, it's not worth it to me. I even physically annotated it. I physically annotated this book, and it still wasn't worth it to me. It has so much potential. I believe that the YA age range will eat this up and love it. It'll be like their new Twilight or their new, I don't know, the next ACOTAR, I don't know. Because I feel like it speaks to them on their level. If it wasn't so predictable, I would have given this 5 stars. I would have given it 5 stars. The thought process is unique enough that I want to know what's going to happen, but since it was predictable, I cannot give it 5 stars. I give it 4 because I understand the hype. I just don't feel like I lived the hype or experienced the hype in any way, shape, or form. I expected more and I got less. I got less than what I expected. By a landslide. Yeah. Next we have some BookBox books. So when I came back home from Tampa, I had a few book boxes laying around that I had to unbox for y'all, and these were the books that were in them, or at least majority of these. First one is The Whispering Dark by Kelly Andrew. A paranormal thriller laced with twists and revelations that will stop your heart. The Whispering Dark will burrow into your bones and nest deep, refusing to let go. Kelly Andrews' prose is aching and lyrical, the mark of a master in the making. It's giving me atmospheric vibes. I know this is spooky dooky. By the way, isn't it beautiful? Look at those sprayed edges. Look at them. Look at them. But what's it about though? Delaney always talked to the dark, but now the dark talks back. She's tired of being seen as fragile just because she is deaf. But when she's accepted into a prestigious program at Godboll University that trains students to help slip between parallel worlds, she's excited for the chance to prove herself. But her semester gets off to a rocky start when she has an awkward encounter with a pretentious upperclassman, whom she has every intention of keeping her distance from. So it's giving me fantasy romance. I love that the main character is deaf, and I believe the author is also deaf. Yes, Kelly Andrew lost her hearing when she was 4 years old. She's been telling stories ever since. Kelly lives in New England with her husband and their 2 daughters, and a persnickety Boston Terrier. Love that. And this is pen signed. Amazing. But I feel like the piece of the resistance for this book is actually the fact that it has not only a lovely hardback cover, but I love both sides of the dust jacket. It has a lovely reversible dust jacket, and the character art has me reeling. I think it's going to be amazing, but I also just really love the artwork. I do want to read this book. I want to kill my fall TBR, and I keep adding more books to it, and I have time to read, unfortunately, because 'tis the season to be busy. I want to read that. I do. I really, really do. Next is The Book Eater by Sunya Dean. This was, I think, my Limerick book for this month. Once there was a mother who fed on stories and would do anything to survive. Ooh. And we have like this really nice sprayed edges. This definitely gives me the Gallant sprayed edges vibes. Super nice. This one's also pen signed. We do have some lovely end pages, but nothing to like write home about. But the hardback version though. It's lovely. I like this characteristic hardback. I like the redone dust jacket. I just really like the book overall. This one also has a really nice end pages, but they're like nothing too magical or mystical. They just have nice attention to detail. Hidden across England and Scotland lives 6 old book eater families. The last of their lines, they exist on the fringes of society and subsist on a diet of stories and legends. Children are rare and their numbers have dwindled when the Vaughan Fairweather's second-born child is born a dreaded mind-eater, a perversion of her own kind, who consumes not stories but the minds and souls of humans. She flees before he can be turned into a weapon for the family, or worse. Interesting. Not sure when I want to read this, but I do want to read this. And next, I actually did read this one. This is Belladonna by Adeline Grace. I gave this 4 stars. It definitely was giving me Gen Z Twilight, but and I also got vibes of Series of Unfortunate Children. Belladonna is about Signa. She is orphaned as a child. She's been raised by a string of guardians, each more interested in her wealth than her well-being, and they each meet an untimely end. Her remaining relatives are the elusive Hawthorns, an eccentric family living in Thorngrove, an estate both glittering and gloomy. Its patriarch mourns his late wife through wild parties while his son grapples for control of the family's waning reputation and his daughter suffers from a mysterious illness. Belladonna is a highly romantic, gothic-infused world of wealth, desire, and betrayal. So we have the beautiful sprayed edges. I love these end pages. Fairy Loot has been doing some lovely end pages. I love how each one is a different scene from the book. I love the fact that the book is a beautiful hardback cover version edition. By the way, even the Barnes & Noble edition of this is very gorgeous from what I've seen. I feel like this series has potential and it's just gonna get better as it goes on, but I definitely just give it a 4 stars. Not impressed. I feel like I'm also burnt out on YA, so that is a highly biased review. Plus, I am not the intended age range of this no more. But yeah, I feel like if you're YA and you love fantasy romance and gothic anything and ghosts and murder mysteries and family drama, you will like this book. But I found it mild. I give it the Gen Z Twilight version vibes. And next, last but not least, Babel by R.F. Kuang. So this is the book I went to Barnes & Noble. I went to like 3 Barnes & Nobles looking for a physical edition of this book. I really needed the hardback copy because I had to annotate, but it took me so long to find a hardback copy because everyone and their baby mama wanted this book, and all the Barnes & Nobles I went to was sold out. And my main idea was that I was just gonna get from the book depository, but then they also sold out, and I was just like, ugh. So I eventually was able to get it. I have only read maybe 130 pages in, and I had to take a break because I was traveling and life was going crazy, but overall, it's a masterpiece. Read it. For everyone who tells me that you think they are not smart enough to read it, I think you are. And worst case, just read the first chapter in the bookstore and feel out. Do you feel if you're smart enough to read this? And I'm pretty sure Amazon probably has like a few like beginning pages that you can like test out to see, is this something I think I can read? I love it. I feel it. It's hit me. The relatability to being a foreigner in America. Captured, understood, felt, embodied. Whew. And that's one of the reasons I had to pause reading this, because I was getting so tied up in it. I felt it. I could relate to it. I felt very seen in it. I was born in America, but I was raised in Guyana, so I have a lot of like, so I do have like the weird realization of what it's like coming to America and having a memory of like why is it so different and all these customs odd to me and the food is weird and the language is different. So for me, I love that someone was able to put it into words and feelings and emotions and embodiment for this book. Loved it. Read it. I'm predicting it's 5 stars. I just want to sit down and gobble this, but I just don't have time to sit and gobble you. But one day I will, and I'll complete it and it'll be amazing. I'll get 5 stars. I'll probably reread it a few times. I have been annotating this thing like crazy. Ooh. I'm so happy I got the physical copy because the annotation has been going, it's been happening. I love her. She's amazing. I regret not reading Poppy Wars before this because I know now, after reading this type of writing, that Poppy Wars would have been a 5 stars for me. And I would have been in love after this when I have time and I can sit down and devour it, because these are really sit down, devour type books. It's not like, let me read like 20 pages, sit down, go. 20 pages, sit down, go. Which is how I kind of live my life unless it's on audiobook. But wow. Breathless, speechless, lovely. And that's all, folks. That is all 14 books that I hauled for fall. We don't really have many plans on buying a lot of books for winter, but I do have some books I need to buy as continuations and stories, so like the sequel to a book that I've already read. So if I do a winter haul, that's probably the books I'm gonna have this book. Besides my BookBox books and whatever special editions are gonna be coming in for this season that I ordered months, maybe probably like last year, honestly, at this point. And oh, Chain of Thorns. I have a few copies of Chain of Thorns coming out. I have at least 3 copies coming. I got a few special editions, so you know what, yeah, there's probably gonna be a winter haul, and it's probably gonna have a lot of sequels and special editions because they're gonna start rolling in soon, and I'm so excited. But that's all, folks. What are you guys looking forward to in special edition books? Because the books I have ordered, my bank account though, what are you guys ordering for special editions? Tell me, because one of my biggest pet peeves is that I don't know a book is good and the special edition releases and I can't buy it because I don't know if I like it or not, and it irks something deep inside of me. Anyway, guys, happy reading. Until next time, have a happy fall. Bye, y'all.